Beneath the quiet streets of a small town in central Turkey, under the very floors where people cook dinner and children play, lies an entire city large enough to hide 20,000 human beings for months at a time. In 1963, a homeowner in Derinkuyu swung a hammer at a basement wall and watched it open onto darkness that had not seen daylight in 40 years. What he found was not a cellar. It was the first of 18 levels carved into soft volcanic rock, plunging 85 meters, nearly 300 feet, into the earth. Rooms for families, stables for livestock, kitchens, wine presses, chapels, schools, and wells that could not be poisoned from above. A hidden world that had sheltered generations through invasions, and then been forgotten by the people living directly on top of it. If that discovery still surprises you, stay with me. The more we learn about what rests beneath our feet, the clearer it becomes that the ground we walk every day is only the thin roof of older, stranger realities. Subscribe if you want more verified stories of the underground world's science and archaeology keep uncovering. Cappadocia's landscape is a soft, pale tuff formed by ancient volcanic eruptions. Rain and wind sculpted the famous fairy chimneys above ground, but the same rock made excavation almost effortless. Beginning perhaps in the 8th or 7th century B.C., Phrygian builders started carving the first chambers. Later generations, Persians, early Christians, Byzantines, expanded the complex until it became a fully functional subterranean city. By the height of the Arab-Byzantine Wars between 780 and 1180 CE, Derinkuyu could house up to 20,000 people together with their animals and food stores. Narrow passages forced any invader to advance single file. Each level could be sealed independently by massive circular stone doors, some weighing half a ton, rolled into place from the inside. Ventilation shafts, one of them 55 meters deep, kept the air breathable even at the lowest floors. A connecting tunnel nearly 9 kilometers long linked Derinkuyu to the neighboring underground city of Kaymakli. For centuries, this was not a curiosity. It was survival architecture. Before the hammer swung in 1963, most residents of the modern town of Derinkuyu had no idea the labyrinth existed beneath their homes. Some local families still used short tunnels as storage or cellars, but the full extent had faded from living memory after the 1923 population exchange emptied Cappadocia of its last Greek-speaking Christian communities. For 40 years the stone doors remained closed, the shafts silent, the chapels dark. People walked, farmed, and built houses above a city that had once held more inhabitants than many surface towns of its era. The ground itself kept the secret. The breakthrough came by accident. Accounts differ slightly. Some say chickens kept vanishing into a crack, others simply that a wall gave way during renovations, but the result is undisputed. Behind the wall lay a tunnel, then another, then a network that archaeologists would spend years mapping. Only 8 of the estimated 18 levels are open to visitors today. Yet even that fraction reveals the scale: communal halls, a cruciform church on one floor, oil and wine presses, prisons, and living quarters arranged around the great vertical shafts. The discovery forced historians to confront a simple truth. Entire populations had once chosen to live, work, worship, and raise children in the dark rather than face the armies above. If this story is already rewriting what you thought possible beneath ordinary soil, hit like and share it with someone who still believes the surface is all there is. Most people still picture Derinkuyu as a single dramatic cave. In reality, it is a defensive organism. The stone doors, those heavy, perfectly circular millstones, could be closed in seconds, isolating any breached section while allowing defenders to move freely behind them. Water wells were designed so the lower levels controlled the supply. An attacker who reached the upper floors could be denied water, or even drowned if the shafts were flooded. Acoustic design turned the ventilation network into a listening system. Sound traveled in ways that let inhabitants detect movement far above, and the city was never unique. More than 200 underground complexes of varying size lie scattered across Cappadocia. Derinkuyu is simply the deepest and most thoroughly excavated. Even now, large sections remain unopened, and a potentially larger complex was only identified beneath Nevşehir in 2014. The map of what lies under this region is still incomplete. Step inside those corridors, and the scale becomes physical. The air cools. The soft, tough walls close in until the ceiling brushes your hair. Narrow staircases spiral downward past rooms where families once slept on stone benches, past stables whose ceilings still show the black scars of animal breath and smoke, past a schoolroom where children learned Greek letters while armies marched overhead. On one level, a cross-shaped chamber opens, its arms precisely carved for Christian liturgy. Deeper still, the great ventilation shaft drops away like a well into another world. Explorers who first mapped these passages in the 1960s and 1970s described the experience in terms that still startle. Italian speleologist Roberto Bixio later called the complex a stone iceberg, the visible tip of something far larger. One documented moment of pure human reaction came when early investigators realized the lower levels contained not only storage but a dungeon. The same community that sought refuge from outside violence had also needed to police itself in the dark. That quiet discovery, stone cells beneath the chapels, reminds us that even hidden worlds carried the full weight of human contradiction. People laughed here, argued, gave birth, buried their dead, and waited for the surface to become safe again. The stone doors, once symbols of protection, also became symbols of isolation. When they rolled shut, the city became a sealed vessel of hope and fear at once. Today, Derinkuyu stands as part of the Gorim National Park and the rock sites of Cappadocia, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It forces us to rethink the boundaries of urban life, of engineering under extreme constraint, and of how ordinary people respond when the world above turns hostile. The soft volcanic rock that made the city possible also made it fragile. Continuous visitor traffic and natural erosion threaten the very passages that once saved lives. Yet the greater lesson is not fragility. It is persistence. Across more than 2 millennia, successive cultures recognize the same truth. When the surface becomes dangerous, the earth itself can be shaped into sanctuary. So the question that remains is not only what else lies under Derinkuyu or under Cappadocia. It is what lies under the places you walk without thinking. How many sealed doors, forgotten shafts, and silent cities still wait beneath ordinary ground? If this hidden world changed the way you look at the soil under your feet, subscribe for the next verified discovery. Leave a comment with the one question that stayed with you, because the ground is still keeping secrets, and every new pair of eyes helps us decide which ones to open next.